evening. Here we are again, week 5. Family, we appreciate you all joining us for another week. And as tradition, I do want to thank Almighty God for allowing us all to be here in good health and for another week to build together. And to each of you all joining us again, I'll mention this again. I hope you all aren't tired of it, but I do really appreciate you all joining us because we do understand that there is a lot of different places and a lot of different things that you all could be doing, but you gave this time to us. So for that, we are grateful. Tonight is a very strong week. We have some great updates. It's been a lot going on in current events politically, and Joe and I had a chance to just touch base a little earlier. I'm going to try not to get into any kind of tangent on anything, but tonight I do want to make sure that we are starting as we did last week. I want to ground us in something that is what I feel is not an opinion. And it's not even how I feel. This is not an opinion. It's not a perspective, but something that has been studied, documented, and proven over time. Take a few minutes and look this gentleman up. He is a very well-known, respected economist, scholar, historian, a former high-level government official whose life work has been focused on understanding outcomes for Black communities. He does this through ownership, through policy, and through group economics. Beginning to reread it again. And in this particular volume, Dr. Anderson expounds that without ownership, without circulation, without group economic strategy, long-term stability and power are nearly impossible to achieve. So this book, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this book speaks directly to where we are as a community. And more importantly, why we are all here tonight. And one of the guiding principles of this particular book is extremely simple, but it's very, very powerful. And it is that if you do not control your economics, you do not control your outcomes. So I want to say that again for everyone who's listening, because I want this to resonate with you all. If we do not control our economics as a community, we will never control our outcome. Jobs do not equal power. Ownership does. Employment may give us income, paycheck, but ownership will allow us to have control and direction and sustainability. So when we expand beyond the individual, you begin to understand something that's a little bit more greater. And that is group economics are determining or will determine our long-term stability. Not what we earn individually, but what we build and circulate and sustain collectively. Now, I want to be very brief about this, and I want to touch on something that I've mentioned before, which is the circulation opportunity that we all have. And the reality is that money flows through our community, but it doesn't stay. It moves too quickly out of the hands of our businesses and out of our control. And when that happens, we as a community, we lose momentum. So when you put all of this together, you begin to clearly see this has never been about the Black community's efforts. This has never been about our talent. This has always been about our structure and our behavior and about our control. And that's exactly why we are all here and why WABA exists. I want to say that again, why weareblackamerica.com exists. We are not just a platform. What we are is building a system. This system is designed to not only increase our visibility and strengthen our connection, but most importantly, it is here to create an opportunity for our economics to stay within our ecosystem. This is just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, we're going to continue to break this down piece by piece, and we are going to fully understand not just the challenge that we are all facing, but to be more familiar with the solution that we are actively building. And what we are working towards is no longer theoretical or practical. It is most certainly necessary. And what we are doing is already in motion. So as we move forward tonight, as we continue pushing towards the release of our platform and our app, and I'm asking that you all understand something very clearly, that we are all here very excited. We are all laser focused, and we are getting closer every single week to bringing this to life. Before I turn this meeting back over to Joe, just a real quick sidebar. I hope everyone is watching what is happening in this country right now. For what's happening right now, and we were joking about it in our pre-production movie with Zach, the redistricting decisions in places like Louisiana and Florida are going to actually shift and shape in our community for years to come. And why these moments matter is because my biggest fear is that you all are not paying attention. I hope you understand this is not a game. These people, this system is focused on completely what I feel like is the elimination of our culture. So the question isn't just what's happening. It all comes down to what is our response going to be to it? Are we going to be able to build together? Are we going to be able to align? What are we preparing for as this system that has been prepared continues to stay prepared? And the reality is they're doing a great job executing at this point. So I don't want to go on very much further about that. We might circle back to this, but I need everyone to understand one of my frustrations is, when I'm riding down the road and I'm listening to the radio, we are just distracted. We have absolutely no understanding of, no observation of the thunderclouds gathering above our. There is something before you that is going to present a change. So I want that to sit with you all as we go forward here tonight. And I think I'm going to stop here. I will turn it back over to Joe, but again, thank you for being here. I'll be back on here a little later and do want to make sure that we're driving some of these points home. We are very close to releasing this out. We're very close to having the platform completed for you. Where we go from there is going to depend on us all. So thank you again for a few minutes of your time. I hope I didn't go too long there, but Joseph, if you would, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Man, that was a great word, Garrick. I appreciate that. That's some great stuff. All right. Yeah, so let's kick it off while we're here, right? So this is our weekly leadership meeting, like you said, episode 5. So let's get right into it. Zach, do you want to take us through any technology updates, any sharing you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say biggest one, at least as far as feel and just the texture of the web. We migrated all of the new features that we had on mobile that we'd implemented the week before for rooms. So that's been ported over. The one real mobile bug fix that was unique to mobile should be resolved for comments, writing, and everything under stories and stuff. So that should be clear. And then the big, like I was referencing, as far as like just textural, like feeling functional aspect, that has been kind of annoying to me, because I feel like I build these systems like all the time, and for some reason over in WABA, like it just never really clicked. It's finally together. So we do have some pretty decent base tooling under the hood for the consumer AI. It has access to pretty much all public content to a degree. So yeah, it is useful and functional as an AI assistant inside of that consumer directory. Ostensibly, more features will need to be ported over with the specific auth gating and scoping, but it is smart enough to know what it can and cannot do, and then also preserve context across conversations. So that for me is a big win. Architecturally, everything was there for this to have been done months ago, but for some reason had implemented these really abrasive routing mechanisms that literally just turned it into just a mush, lobotomized version of what it was supposed to be. And it really frustrated me for a little bit. And I was just like, why is this not working? I don't understand. But that's what happens when you move fast and you're just pushing features constantly, shipping. So this week, where I only had really 2 focuses. I thought it was kind of crazy to be like, okay, we're going to release the app without the AI. I was like, I mean, we could, but I was like, nah, wasn't an option for me. So yeah, so that's functionable. Test. Things green there, then I'll be pushing for store approval next. That's the next step. Honestly, I might generate an APK build for you guys to test as well. If anyone has an an Android, this latest build version. That's the only thing that I forgot to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, testing notes kind of around that. Really, like I said, I provided 2 versions, the development and then the production build. Both are important to test for different reasons. There's parity across these services testing for, but really, as far as the larger critique and what we should be spending most of our time in, is the production build, because that's what we're going to be releasing. So
How do you get in the other build?
sure, let me connect my phone. I'll do a quick demo for you
And
guys.
did you say that the comments stuff was updated? Because it's not on my side. I'm on build 42. That's the newest one, right?
Yep. It was working.
But I have the display zoom on also on my settings,
So is it a functionable issue or is it a viewing issue?
It's the same issue. So when I hit comment and then I go to write a comment, my keyboard shows up and I can't see what I'm typing or I can't see the box. It's the
That's not what I
same
had
as it was. Yeah.
That's not what I had understood. So I'll release a new build tonight then. I didn't realize it was a keyboard issue. I thought it was a functionality issue.
I
Like
don't
the-
know. Yeah, I don't think it's a functionality issue because I can't really post the comment because I can't even hit the send because the keyboard. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that's different.
Did I not alert you correctly? Is that my fault? Are you blaming me? Can. You know?
Let's see. I'm even trying to go.
Does it work on your end?
That's what I'm trying to validate for you.
Okay.
I'll show you how to go. Let's see. Let me get a quick time. We can just troubleshoot this here directly.
I haven't tested the AI yet. I plan on getting in there tomorrow and like really getting in there. So I'll let you know what I come up with. Obviously, I've been testing it before, but I'll let you know as soon as I.
Yeah, I know you're not. I feel like you're not as convinced because
You said we can't shift.
I honestly don't blame you because it was excruciating to kind of deal with. Why am I in the direction?
Okay, so what Zach's showing right now is our actual app. Okay, so for everybody's reference. So yeah, comments.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's a different issue. Okay.
All the functionality, other functionality works though. Like the like, the sharing, all that works. So I imagine the comment actually works. You know what I mean? It's just we can't actually leave one right now. Because I've left comments. So
Gotcha. That is very easy. We're gonna have a new build before off the call. Honestly,
Zach, you also redesigned the whole website.
yeah, I did do
You
that.
didn't mention that.
You know,
The whole website has a
it's
complete
insane.
redesign.
It looks, it is fantastic.
Yeah, that was the fun part. Everything else I did was not fun this week, but yeah, that was fairly fun. So yeah, definitely, I think there's some additional improvement that can be made from animalization of some of these components, especially in particular on the map. But yeah, a lot of really good new design elements. Some of them are going to continue to improve. There's a couple of things that I'm noticing that you might not notice that I'm not as happy with, but yeah, we needed to push it out for the part of our routing for the phone. So everything, yeah, go ahead.
What are you not happy about? What challenges are you having?
There's nothing like especially that I'm unhappy about. It's just very small gradients. Looking at some spacing needs to be adjusted to viewport. There's small gaps in between some of the sub navigation with the main nav. They're probably for some of their business resources section in community that could be consolidated into something more visually interesting. I think ultimately design wise, the web right now is riddled with cards and it kind of values like these are all solid design principles, but I think that ultimately like the over reliance on like all these multiplicative cards across both stories, news, and resources, it's just very overdone. And so, from a differentiation and stylistic standpoint, the site looks good. It just doesn't have much of, it has more soul than it did before. That's a fact. But it needs more soul. And I think that is something that this first pass works well, but I think design wise, it could be a lot more competitively interesting.
I think you're being maybe a little too modest or hard on yourself. This looks better than 90 websites online right now. I mean, am I the only person that thinks that? What?
Yeah, no, it looks great, but I can hear what you're saying, like with the cards and all that, right? Like that's been the design model for some years now, right? Like so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good when used tastefully. I think because we've had to drive out like large swaths of features across multiple pages and then wire them up with all the backend stuff, moving very quickly from a scaffolding perspective. Design was more so, okay, like this looks like it's logical and it's neat and it's polished, right? The next step is like diverging away from something that is inherently, what's the word? It has this mono aesthetic, and then actually grappling with something that is more visually compelling from a user experience perspective. So and it comes in small things, like when you use a website that you use a lot, like it's both for the content that you're connecting from that website, but also because like there are very subtle things that the website does in order to compel you to return. And so I think that we have some of those elements, but they aren't unified under the same sort of like loose multicultural, multiplicative aesthetic. And I think that there's always some room to kind of push that envelope with like tiny touches. So yeah.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, and like you said, like it all kind of looks the same too, right? Between resources, news, stories, like yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean, it's clean, and so I guess the basic framework is there, but we can enhance it, right? So yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get better. It's only gonna get better. When I say like I'm not taking anything away from myself at all. I mean, I think it looks great. I designed it, but it could be better.
An artist is never happy with his work. Yeah, you did, just for everybody's awareness, Zach added 20 lines and deleted 12,000 lines. He added 36 new files out of the 300 files he worked on this week. So
yeah. I mean, a lot of the front end changes, those were actually the week before last. So,
oh, you built them and then pushed them this week, essentially.
Yeah, deployed them this week, Had a couple of breaking points there on deploy also. The site was down for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, you got it up quick though.
Yeah, it's convex. They new checksum for their package defaulted, and we had to do some sort of audit trail against that. Right now, the previous package that we were running is fine. But yeah, there's a couple of more features.
Yeah, I mean the rooms is awesome. Okay, the virtual rooms is awesome, and once we push that to the website, that'll be great. It'll look great, right? So is it live right now?
Yeah, that's live. If you go under Connect, we have a new native page for the AI as well. And then
it is. Rooms is right there. Yeah.
For rooms. And then messages.
Oh, yeah, that looks really nice. Oh, wow. Okay. After the call, we should all test this since there's 4 of us. Okay, so we need to test with more people. So since this is live, so after our call and our post-production, we'll go in there and test all this. So, oh wow, I didn't even know it was there. That looks so good on the website, Zach. That looks really good.
Yeah, I like the rooms design a lot in general. I think when you're describing the feature, I knew exactly what it was going to look like, and it looks exactly like I imagined it. So that is one thing that I am fairly happy with design-wise.
Wow, awesome, great stuff. That's going to be so cool. I think that's going to be huge. Honestly, I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, right now, feature set that we're piloting is because ultimately, for one, there are certain budgetary restrictions with the live kit. It's actually fairly cost prohibitive if we wanted to add more egress or feature sets around that. But essentially, we have the state communities based off of a certain average amount of businesses that we have in our directory. And, you can join any community, but it is going to geolocate you based off of, where you are and suggest those rooms to you directly so you can connect to people in your area. And then it's just one large mono thread. Probably very shortly after release, I'm going to be working through additional moderation utilities, and a couple other inline functions to kind of make that process a little bit easier.
This is so cool. I'm in the North Carolina community right now. This is really cool. Yeah, great stuff, Zach. You did an awesome job. You were working late. This everything you did this week was great. I can't wait to get into the AI and try good too.
It just does, man. Especially in the night version, right? The night version is.
That's what I have. Love that dark version. Yeah, you're exactly right, Garrick. Well, thanks, Zach. Great work. Yeah, great work, man. That was a big week. The last couple weeks have been huge. So
yeah, the week before last is gonna be hard to top. Get more.
You did 9 builds that week. So last week. So yeah.
I just need more tokens.
Yeah, so from a testing perspective, we've done a lot of testing over the last 2 weeks. So we need to get in there, test the AI. I'll go through the app. I'll have time tomorrow to go through the app, the entire app, make sure AI is working, everything else. I'll click on every button, make sure everything's good. But really, we're near launch here. We're right here. So hopefully the AI is good to go. We get that final comment thing fixed. The rooms look great. Getting into the virtual rooms look awesome. So I think it all looks awesome. So I'm excited. I think the app launch is going to be huge for us. So, and then we'll be able to, I was just even talking to Garrick, with the app launch, that's going to be so easy to share, with your contacts and just get people on the app. You know what I mean? It's just going to be so easy to share that too. Yeah, super exciting. Super excited. So yeah, testing is the big push this weekend. Get this all wrapped up, and hopefully next week we're submitting for app approval. So that would be awesome. Garrick, you want to jump back in and go through any of the strategic or investor updates that you might have this week?
Absolutely. Well, everyone has in front of you. The one that I want to, the people that I want to start with are not the people that we've been mentioning the last couple of weeks. All of those contacts have continued. I spoke with, very much looking forward to her. She brought Joe and I a gentleman who is the chief operating officer, and I think he was the chief technical officer of a major corporation, and some of those things, or actually everything that we were actually doing. We were just not far enough into the progress. And I misspoke there. That was actually from our attorney friend out of New York, right? So she and I, we had a chance to speak. She had just finished up a trial, and she's on fire about what we're doing. Like, she's very politically involved in her area. And apparently, this is something I may or may not have mentioned before. The Black attorneys in New York City are very active in some of these areas, in social activism. And when she and I had a chance to speak a little earlier this week, we had a chance to really not only catch up, but just talk about, which direction we're headed. And she is aligned with what we're doing. So there are going to be some follow-up. Business owner that I mentioned last week, she actually invited me to a birthday party. She and I were going to be touching base before then, because I would like to just kind of set the table before we have a much more in-depth conversation. The gentleman who brought us on our test, he's also, brother, has a few personal things going, so he's not available very late. We've been in communication quite frequently. My cousin, who is a vice president with a federal bank, has been made aware of what we're doing. My family out in Chicago, they're all talking. They're actually on fire. It's actually a little surprising. Joe, you and I, we actually didn't get a chance to touch base about this, but not only that, they're going to start to show. Right? So I feel really, this has been a really productive week. The HBC outreach just got fever pitched by Winston-Salem State University. Shout out to the Rams. They have just showed up, and Johnson C. Smith as well. We've been invited by their assistant director. It's going to be doing homecoming week. Anyone who's ever been to Winston-Salem State's homecoming, they know how eventful it is. And for that matter, A&T, I've been to Livingstone's homecoming. I've been to Central's, one or two of those, but I grew up going to A&T. A very family-centric environment vibe. So the fact that they're reaching out, and they are not only have invited us to that, we're probably going to schedule a meeting. She's already looking at towards the end of next week, the following week, to have an actual walkthrough of the platform. So I'm going to flesh that out a little bit more. Zach, Joe, you may be on that call, so just be aware of that. And the gentleman at Johnson C. Smith University, he had something come up last minute, was unable to join our meeting this week, but he's in constant communication with us. So I don't know whether or not anyone's excited about this. And Joe continues to mention when he and I are speaking about this. We both agree that once that app launches, as the platform continues to build, some of these contacts or contact efforts are going to get a little bit easier. We both feel like people are going to be seeking us out. But up and until that point, we're going to continue to push. Central is next. Livingston will be contacted this week as well. So I wanted to see kind of, what the reaction was with some of the outreach that has been made. And it's been super positive. So we're going into every Black college in the United States of America shortly to talk about the investor list that we already have. How many people do we have? 150, 200 investors? Like that. So we're going to, Zach, when you give us the word, when you feel like we're maybe a week to 2 weeks out, I'm going to start working on that press release. Keyshawn, I'll get with you about that, because we want to start sending out, we want to start warming these people up as to what is imminent at this bit of time.
Yeah, so to clarify, submission happens, can basically hold, in the stores at WABA. So we can choose the actual approval process. So once it's approved, it basically just kind of sits there.
We could have a release date, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. If we want it.
I think we do need to do that, and I think because when you set a deadline, when you start building, we can kind of get a ladder. I don't know exactly how many people are going to be standing in line to download, but we're going to make sure that they understand that it is available. Does anyone disagree with that? How do we all feel about that?
No, yeah, Key can start, building momentum with
That's
some of his
correct.
posts and all
That's
that,
correct.
right? So
That's correct.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity, Key, especially with the content that you're already putting out there. As phenomenal as it is, I think that we'll be able to get some great energy going with that. There's a couple of other opportunities that I'm following up on as well. I think I'm gonna shift slightly my approach with a few things. I think it's going to be measured, and I think it will prove to be very effective here. But again, it is going to require their participation. So we're going to do our end, and we're going to be consistent. We're going to continue to follow up with everyone. So I feel like this has probably been one of the more productive weeks in a while on that list. We're going to make sure he makes his word bond to what we agreed that he would turn on. And for that matter, all of these people. So let's hope they don't find themselves on the other side of the fence here. And keep everyone posted. This has been a great week. We're going to continue to have great momentum, and I think that we're heading in the right direction, especially with the HBC, like with Winston-Salem's reaction. I just read the email to Joe. It's almost like they're all in already. So we're going to take advantage of this, right? So, if there's any questions, I think we can follow up with those. But
at the end of the day, it's just great to get in the networks of these, right? Especially as we have the app launch, just getting in alumni letters or what have you, getting in front of students, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I think that's just the right thing to do to get buy-in for what we're doing. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question. I haven't done this research yet, and I'm going to either tonight or tomorrow for sure. Does anyone know where the current administration is with their funding of HBCUs? The first time Mr. Donald was in office, there was a lot of resources given to Black colleges. I'm not sure where we are at this time. Feedback on that, or anyone know before I dive in? Because if not, I'm going to share next week as we continue to move forward. But does anyone have anything?
April 23rd, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order to promote excellence and innovation at historically Black colleges and universities, to establishing the White House Initiative on HBCUs.
Directed roughly $1 million in discretionary funding to HBCUs in 2025.
How much?
Yeah.
Say it again.
435 million.
Good start.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting as well. Yeah, total federal investment in HBCUs is about up to $1.34 billion for the year.
For the year.
Yeah.
2025.
God damn it. Okay, yeah. All right. So where's the hard?
Where's the money going? The HBCUs. Bloated administration.
Yeah. No. I mean, as I drive past John C. Smith today, we're gonna have to look at this. I don't want to say anything out of order, but we're gonna have to find out where these dollars are, because the reality, I don't know, what how this is further. That's correct. They figure it out from there.
I do see a bit of documentation here from the U.S. Department of Education. So campus maintenance and infrastructure, instructional facilities. So that includes the purchase or rental of scientific and laboratory equipment, property acquisition, so new property to expand the campus footprint, support for graduate programs in order to improve academic instruction in disciplines where Black Americans are underrepresented, master's degree programs, student faculty and support services, counseling, financial management programs, tutoring, scholarships, and financial aid. So that's funding for the Pell Grant program, faculty development for fellowships and educators at these institutions to attain advanced degrees. I mean, it seems pretty good. Never really found the right to miss their support of HBCUs. They've always been very consistent with that.
I agree.
I think the only criticism of this movement that I could find by Trump was made by the NAACP, and it was based on really the timing of when this order came about. It's kind of like a photo op based off of all of the DEI and inclusion restrictions and rollbacks that he provided. I mean, it seems like a measurable cop back, but I mean, money talks. I don't really know how.
I can assure you we'll revisit this, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, but it's a good start. Nobody here is jumping up and down, but it's a good start.
No, you're great job, Garrick. I mean, you're making some great networking. I think the schools is a great look, so appreciate all your efforts, man.
Absolutely.
Did any of y'all go to HBCU?
No, I did not.
Trying to play back. I'd have gone to one of HBCU.
Back, you did though, right?
Yeah, I went to Howard.
Yeah, went to Howard. Yeah. One of the oldest. I think it was still named after Rockefeller's mother-in-law. He coming for the name of that too. So slowly but surely.
Well, thanks, Garrick, again. You're making great
conversation.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's great stuff. And
Correct.
like you said, the app is going to really launch everything. So that's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Key, you want to give any updates regarding any of your marketing or content or anything you got going on over there? And when did you post that? Damn, thought so. That's amazing. And I looked at it like 3 hours and it was a little over 900. 3 hours ago and it was a little over 900. And like we talked about earlier, you're at like you went up like 50 subscribers on YouTube since our last meeting. So that's awesome. Oh, wow. Yeah, we've been really. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, we were getting like one view, like one like before, right? Like, so, and it was usually us liking it. Like, so. Yeah, and we talked about it kind of last week, but that's exactly what we wanted to show when we started We Are Black America, me and Garrick, right? Like, we wanted to show like the other side of Black America that people don't know. You know what I mean? Like that people don't know as far as Main Street, right? And that's exactly what you're doing now. Like these stories that you're telling are incredible. I love it. I think, and like you said, it's
I love them,
resonating
Keith.
with people. Like guys, it's really
That's correct.
resonating with people, and you could kind of tell. Like people are like, "How can I even get involved?" You know, like what can I do more of? One thing I didn't notice: are you not engaging with people in the comments at all? Oh, you do. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. We don't want to engage with those people, but yeah. I went in there and was just, that's correct. Yeah. Don't do it as WABA. No.
That's a waste of time. No.
I went in there and was liking comments and stuff like that where people were posting and stuff and like just trying to engage a little bit, just to get a little bit more activity, So really.
So you get it's exactly what Joe mentioned, and I'm pretty sure you're sharing things that people just don't know. Like I'm telling you, I'm watching your video. I am just generally entertained by all of your videos. It is just good content, and it has it's got a tone to it as well. Whereas like the voice, I think you're just doing a great job with it, man. So excellent, keep that up. It is. It is very serious. It's sad.
Wow, that's more than we're getting on YouTube. That's great though, because that's going to get us more into the Facebook algorithm. You know what
That's
I mean?
correct.
If we're getting that many views, they try to get those kind of videos shown more, right? So that's really cool. Oh, that's really great. I like it at the end.
I was just going to say the new, even some of the existing web search functionality of the latest GPT model, but they have an API for web search. I mean, even from an extraction standpoint, I mean, I think the newer model has gotten tremendously better at this natively, but I mean, price prohibitive for sure. But I didn't notice as much degradation. That's why one reason I mentioned it. So much so that you can actually have it render barcodes and they'll be functional.
Yeah, my wife does QR codes and stuff, and it's functionable. Yeah, yeah, all that. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like barcodes that you go to the grocery store at. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, it's that good. From a specificity standpoint, that's very impressive. Yeah, it might be useful for. I don't know if the API has been public yet offhand, but
for the image.
Yeah. So I mean that might be helpful if you're not already using it. Probably are.
No, you're doing great. I mean, you're doing a lot, Key. So I appreciate it. Everything's hitting now, like you said. We're getting a lot more views, so that's only going to keep growing. So awesome stuff. And I think once the app launches, we start getting more visibility. Like that's just going to continue to grow. So we're not like at the baby stages anymore. We're like toddler, So that's right. That's right. We just took our first steps. That's correct. That's correct. Thanks, Key. Appreciate it. All right. So just looking ahead for our core focus for the week from a team alignment perspective, we're going to finish up the app, AI testing and app testing, AI testing, website testing, all of it, right? Since there were some updates there. This is kind of final phase of hopefully app testing. So hopefully that's wrapped up by the weekend and then prepare for app approval next week, right? So we talked a little bit about our launch rollout strategy, right? Like having like an actual launch date and doing some marketing up to that launch date. So that's awesome. Garrick, you're going to continue doing your investor pipeline progression stuff. So that's great stuff. Key, you just talked about it, maintaining just consistent content, the growth engine, right? So we're good there. And just all of us staying disciplined, right? And just keep everything moving forward. We've been doing that for years now, it feels like, right? Which it has been. So good stuff. So looking ahead, next week, we'll get into our monthly financial review. It's the end of the month. This month, it's the 30th right now. So statements and everything come out tomorrow. We'll do our monthly budgetary review on our call next week. Just, you talked a little bit about it this week. We've been doing good though. Funding has been good. So we're moving right along. And, just from even just, I'm proud of where we are just with the app launching, and we still own like 100% of this company. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. So if we keep pushing, we start growing users with the app, and we have the business side going soon. Like this is just I tell Garrick all the time, like I don't even think we need investors anymore. So we just need users and networks at this point, I feel like. So because then that'll grow our user base, and then money will come with that. Right. So great stuff. Great stuff. So, like I said, monthly financial review next week. We're closer to app launch. These videos will be posted to YouTube, and like just consistency there. So that'll be great. So I think we're just moving right along. We're doing a great job. Anybody else have anything they want to add today? Garrick, you want to go ahead and close this?
The work they're doing, and everybody, I think collectively, the consistency that we continue to show, this matters. And this is, kind of what we're building, right? We want to make sure we're showing up every single week. And I know Zach does, I know Joe does, and I know Key does. So we really appreciate it. But I hope everyone's paying very, very close attention to these conversations, because what we're leading to is, in effect, the change that we have as a community always requires. We have a decent amount of work ahead of us to get exactly where we want to be. But, this building continues to strengthen us, and what we're doing matters. We look forward to seeing you all next week.